Lions TV, this is the Den Daily, bringing you all the latest gossip, views and transfer news from in and around the Den. What has a man got to do to get some time off and a laze in the sun? It is bedlam today in SE16. Of course, we all woke up to the news. Well, I didn't wake up till 9 o'clock. About the time it was announced by Richard Cowley that CEO Steve Kavanagh and head of recruitment Alex Aldridge would both be leaving the club. That has now been confirmed by the club in a statement, and as well as those two going, head of communications Billy Taylor joins them and the trio leave SE16. Now it's been confirmed, the Aldridge thing, I think a lot of people welcome that with open arms, and we'll get onto his replacement in a minute. The Kavanagh one's really strange for me. I don't think he done a bad job, although he wasn't everyone's favourite. You don't have to like someone for you to be thinking that they're doing a good job at your football club, and I thought he did do that, and the club have credited him with, you know, a lot to be held for the success we've had. He was behind a lot of that over the last 7 or 8 years, as long as he's been there. But only a couple of weeks ago, I didn't mention this in the video I did this morning. Now I'll put the link into that at the end of this video. He put an open letter to fans, didn't he? And he said, you know, we've had a very up and down season. Of course, the tragic passing of John Berylson was a major downer, and of course, also nearly getting relegated. But the positives and the pluses that he put forward was Neil Harris coming back to the club, rejuvenating us and steering us clear of that relegation zone. And of course, as well, that our crowds have been up massively, the largest crowds we've had, average attendance at the Den, since the 1950s. And he said we want to take the club forward, etc, etc, and there'll be a big announcement coming soon. That announcement came 2-3 days ago maybe, from Millwall and Lewisham Council, that the Lions have been granted a 999-year lease to redevelop the ground around the stadium, and all the profits from that will be Millwall based. So did he want to do that as his last act, and he's walked away with his head held high? I don't know. It's just really strange timing. I still don't know whether they've all walked. I can't say they've all walked on block. I'm thinking this is probably a decision from James Berylson, and maybe, you know, JB Jr. is a ruthless businessman that wants to get things in order to steer us to the next level. I was going to say only time will tell. Maybe it won't. Maybe we'll never find out. We'll only find out from James Berylson's actions. But what does this mean? 3 people out and 1 person in. Straight away, that means to me potentially the cutting of costs, and less fingers in the pie, less people to discuss. You know, the decisions will lie at the feet of the new director of football, Steve Gallen. We've never had a director of football before at a football club, as far as, you know, I know. I could be corrected on that, but I'm pretty sure that this is a position that has now been created, and going forward it's going to be the way things are going to be under James Berylson. It's bold. It puts a lot of responsibility at the feet and pressure of Steve Gallen, James Berylson and Neil Harris. But I think it's a good move. I really do, and I'm excited to see how Gallen does. The club have already confirmed that Gallen has arrived in SE16. They released this statement earlier today. Millwall Football Club is delighted to confirm the appointment of Steve Gallen as Director of Football. With a long and distinguished recruiting, scouting and coaching career in football, Steve arrives at the club to provide support to Neil Harris and Millwall as a collective. Steve spent 2 decades at Queen's Park Rangers and was previously Director of Football at Charlton Athletic. He has a proven track record of establishing a process and platform for identifying and developing talent at all stages during his years at QPR and Charlton. And his main focus at Millwall will be to use his experience to elevate all parts of football operations, from academy to first team. They went on to welcome him to the club. Look, I know a lot of you, judging by the comments, I laugh, by the way, during that, because their statements always, it's someone a lot cleverer than me, put that way. It always sounds like it's been typed up by Chat GBT or whatever it's called. Look, Gallen's in, okay? And I think, as I said, a lot of you maybe not on board with it, but I mean, look, Kavanagh's gone, and that's a little bit of a mixed bag. You all wanted Aldridge out. I've seen the banners doing the rounds on Twitter long before today. So Aldridge is gone, you've got your wish. Now you've got to try and give this bloke the time that he needs. And we can only judge him on what he does. Let's not judge him on where he's been previous. Yes, he's got ties with Charlton and Lee Bowyer especially, but fresh start for him. He's done a lot of coaching, a lot of scouting at QPR and Charlton, 20 years worth. So he must know his hungers. He must know what he's good at and what players need. Yes, Charlton have been on the decline pretty much since he came in or after Lee Bowyer left. But as again, I said in the video earlier, that's not down to him. That's down to the management and the chairman. He can only put players forward, maybe younger players that he feels potentially could come good, or players that are ready for that first team now. But he's now at Millwall Football Club and it's time to get behind him. But as I said earlier, this position, Director of Football, it has not previously existed at Millwall Football Club as far as I'm aware. So me reading between the lines and being hopeful more than anything, I think, and I could be miles off it, but I think that this position as Director of Football has been created long term for Neil Harris. Harris has got next season and some to run on his Millwall contract. He signed for 18 months, didn't he? What was he, 3 months into that? So yeah, his contract runs beyond the end of the 24-25 season, and I personally think what you could see happen is at the end of next season, Neil Harris make that step upstairs and become Director of Football and a job for life at Millwall Football Club, and I really, really feel that will benefit us as a club. I do feel, and I still think it was right manager, wrong time, but it's long in the past now. Joe Edwards, I feel someone like him could have massively benefited from Neil Harris's, to draw off his experience and his knowledge of the club as a player and a manager and just the general understanding. Neil Harris is Millwall Football Club. You'll never get someone more Millwall than him, or someone who understands it more. You've only got to look at the way we played towards the back end of last season, the results we picked up, the clean sheets, the battles, the desire, and I think that a new manager eventually coming in could really, really benefit from Harris. So again, I could be miles wrong, I could be miles off the mark, but I think that in the long term, this position has been created for Neil Harris. But for now, our new first and only Director of Football is Steve Gallen. Millwall welcome him to the club today after releasing a statement, 3 out, 1 in. And that is the Den Daily done. I'm not doing any more videos today. I've had to come out the box room and into the main room where the aircon is on and I'm still sweating my tits off. Please subscribe to Lions TV. Come on, you Lions.